Oh, driving around Mexico, there were often vendors, like food vendors, standing around in the road, ready to sell you something as, as sort of a nice drive-through service. I can just hand some money to someone without even getting out of my car. And a popular snack in Mexico is coco frio. And this was normally just a coconut with a straw in it. But this time, this I got a special treat because this coconut did not have a shell. Like ordinarily, it's just too much work to scoop the meat out of a coconut. But with no shell, I was able to drink up all the coconut milk and then eat the container that I drank out of. I just got to eat this whole thing, this whole coconut. It was great. I wish I wish this was more common because this was like a super convenient thing to just be able to drink the cocoa frio and then just eat eat the whole thing, eat the coconut. And that was on my way to Guatemala. So I actually did finally make it to Guatemala after so many ordeals, such a hard time getting through Chiapas. Um, I wanted to take this photo because it says Hotel Texas. I go all the way to Guatemala and here I'm back in Texas. But this is actually the Hotel Texas restaurante. And I actually met somebody. I made a friend at the border crossing into Guatemala. And I was taking him to uh, to Huehuetenango. He helped me out with the border crossing in exchange for a ride. And so I made it to Huehuetenango, and this is a really nice ornate cemetery with all these mausoleums here. You can see that they are every bit as decorative and ornate and interesting to look at as the ones in Mexico. This is like a hot dog, looking like a Subway sandwich. It's sort of like much bigger than you would expect a sort of American hot dog bun to look like. Um, my friend, who I had just met, actually ran a few restaurants. So this was one of them. It was like a hot dog stand. And here is the view of the cemetery from above. This is from my friend's house. He actually was letting me sleep there, so I didn't have to sleep in my trailer. And there were sort of a few levels. I think this was like the third story up. And also very nice street art. Along the walls, the outside walls of the cemetery, you see a lot of cool pictures. I took a photo of this one in particular because it looks like she's a Trill from Star Trek with these markings on her face. Um, but yeah, I think it's like a lot of sort of Aztec influence because I think there's a lot of that in Guatemala since their currency is actually called the Quetzal, Quetzales. And here is a sapote. So my friend um, got some of these because he really likes sapotes, and I'm sort of showing what they look like on the inside. They've got this huge kind of pit in the middle, and I got to climb up this mountain near uh, near Huehuetenango, and here's some sort of ruins of a building. I thought this looked cool. I see this kind of stuff around Mexico a lot. This sort of these stone buildings that have lost their roof, and I don't know. I guess they've fallen out of use, but you can see, they left something behind here. This is another dilapidated structure. This one still has its roof, but I'm sure there are plenty of holes in it. Um, and this is from beneath it, so as you can see, the photo is facing up the mountain as the two of us were hiking up there. Somebody wrote their name with rocks for other people to see. It looks like it says Carlos here. Nice little plant, one of these kind of nature's whoopee cushions. Kind of this little thing that you can squeeze, and it's like full of sort of dirt that you make a little cloud of it. Uh, Finally, we reach the top, and we can see um, just the countryside down below. This is Guatemala. My friend was telling me you can see every volcano in Central America from this peak. I don't know if that's true, but you can see pretty far. Um, got the got the sunlight a lot here. And here's another view, just looking down the mountain. We can see the dilapidated house on the left here, with the roof, with the slanted roof. And also, of course, there is a cross at one of the peaks along the hike, so we can see here's the cross from down below. Um, this is a nice little pyramid structure, which is at the bottom of the hike around where we parked the vehicle. You can also see in this shot there's some power lines running across the mountain and some nice clouds. So my friend took me to his family ranch where his parents lived, and this is nice. I'm not sure if you can tell from the photo, but this is actually kind of a cliff. I'm looking down the cliff from up above. Here's another shot. You can see sort of plots of land down below. I was hiking up this hill out on the ranch and just showing all the trees and stuff down below. There's a nice little road with the countryside stretching out into the distance, climbing, and there's a building up here. There's like a hotel or something. You can see the wall and all the ranch down below. I think I just needed to take a picture every time I reach the top of something. So yeah, you can't really tell how tough it was to get up here, but I hiked up this slope and I wanted to show what it looked like down below. Just more photos of the countryside. So this was interesting. This is the outhouse, of course. I'm sure you can tell. Uh, I was gonna say porta potty, but obviously it's not portable. It's a nice little stone toilet here, and these walls are pretty easy to see through. And for some reason, the children were like trying to look at my wiener while I was going pee in this toilet. You know, I guess kids are weird. And on the ranch, there's like this sort of fruit orchard. They're growing like grapefruit or other citrus fruit, I guess. This is a nice homemade chicken tamale. Um, I figure this is about as authentic as Guatemalan food gets. And I'm not really sure what this is. It's like a plantain or something. Fried plantain maybe, like the outside skin gets all blackened and then you just peel it to eat it. So this is a picture of the family, my friend and everyone. I'm sure they don't mind me sharing it. This just living out here and the dog and everybody. And this one we sort of get the little baby in the shot, the little girl. The boys aren't in the shot, but you can see the rest of the family. I guess the boys are off playing somewhere. Um, this you can I think I was taking this photo so you can see that they have this satellite dish and they're hanging out their clothes to dry, and this is like their house. And here is one of their roosters. I was getting ready to leave, but before I left, I wanted to show off all of their animals, the livestock on the ranch. You got turkeys and cows and everything, and a nice little pig in a pen to keep it from running away. You can see its head is all blurry because it was moving around too much. And the cow was taking some interest in my sandal, I guess. And lots of turkeys and chickens and roosters and everybody and some ducks. I got all the birds around around this region of Latin America. They all look so alien to me. They're all just like dinosaurs. Um, Here is a photo in Huehuetenango. I was trying to capture a sort of roaming pack of dogs. It looks like they had mostly dispersed, but I wanted to show that there was a little wiener dog kind of roaming amongst the bigger dogs as part of the pack. And this is like some kind of citrus, a grapefruit, I guess. It was super sour. I don't remember if I was even able to finish the whole thing. And I made it to Panajachel, which is a really nice touristy place in Guatemala. Kind of a treacherous road to get down the mountainside heading towards the lake here, Lago de Atitlan. And I wanted to take this photo because I thought it was really funny. It was like a no peeing sign. And here we have a nice turtle where you can recycle things. Um, Very cool, you know, that they're dedicated to recycling. So in Panajachel, it's known for these sort of two mountains that you can see in the distance across the lake. There were ferries that took you around to various points around the lake. I didn't go on one. It would certainly be a fun thing to do if I ever visit again. I'm not sure why I took this photo, but you can see there's sort of these rocks on the slope with a net. There's some flags. There's like different levels of paths to walk on. I guess I took this from the bottom where the beach was. Here's some nice art. You can see sort of showcasing what Panajachel is famous for, these two mountains. And oh boy, as I continued driving through Guatemala, this was a long day, but I was on this dirt road and they just expect me to drive through this river. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? This is the road. This is the road I gotta go on. And I made it to Antigua. This is another big tourist attraction. I got here sort of at dusk as the sun was setting, but I wanted to show this cloudy mountain in the distance and these sort of, you know, the walls of this street. This was a nice fountain in the city square after the sun has set. I guess I wanted to take a photo with the flash. So this was funny to me because it's a Domino's pizza, but it does not look like the Domino's we're used to. As you know, the buildings in Latin America, I guess I would say. I haven't been to South America. I want to say Latin America because I'm talking about Central America and Mexico. But you know, oftentimes you've got these clay one-story buildings that have like a lot of built businesses that are just sharing this one building, and that's like the whole block. Um, yeah, you don't see like Domino's as a separate building like you would in the US. And oh boy, I had made it to Guatemala City and finally parked in the hotel I was staying at. And they made everybody else move their cars so I could get my pickup truck into the building. And they're acting like this was all fine. It's like, yeah, we got room. You can park here. Um, and I'm like, well, I gotta leave at like 4 in the morning. What are you gonna do? And they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna wake everybody up so they can all move their cars for me. Yeah, yeah, great. That's just great. And this was, while it was in the building, in the hotel, I wanted to show that this was also a courtyard, sort of no roof here. You can see the sky from within this courtyard. And here is Guatemala City. There's a nice little uh, roundabout here. Nice circular street area with a nice garden monument park stuff in the middle. Here's a closer look at the fountain structure they had. and another horse here outside PF Chang's. Um, this is more like downtown city area, showing that they have a lot of, urban stuff. Here's like inside a shopping mall, I guess, and they had a nice little two-story slide with this enormous ball pit and a sort of frosted donut thing in their playground. Um, so I finally got on a bus. I had left my trailer behind in Huehuetenango, and I left my truck in Guatemala City so that I could travel by bus. And the reason was that I was worried about border crossings. There was some doubt as to whether or not I could bring my truck back into Guatemala shortly after leaving. And so I didn't want to be trapped um, in El Salvador or somewhere, not being able to get back into Guatemala. So I traveled by bus. Here is a nice little river as we're heading um, into El Salvador. And here's another river. I guess I'm in El Salvador by this point. And I wanted to show off how many choices of ATM that they gave you. Also, one of them, the only things I can mention about El Salvador, since I wasn't there for very long, is that they use US dollars there. When I was crossing over the border and people are trying to offer me US dollars, I was like, why would I want US dollars? I'm going to El Salvador. But turns out that's their currency. Um, here's a nice little square. Well, it's not a square, but there's like statues and trees and grass and stuff. Here's a very cool tree. Again with that pattern of painting like the trunk white, and there's like a line on it. I'm not sure what the purpose is. And here's a nice statue. I guess I wanted to get a picture of Jose de San Martin, and I definitely wanted to show off these. I saw these in Belize, and people were telling me these are what cojones are. That's where the word cojones comes from the fruity nut things that grow on these kinds of palm trees. And in El Salvador, I had heard that the kind of food that's kind of definitive of the country is the pupusas. So I walked around the city until I found a pupusa place, and I picked out some pupusas that sounded like they'd taste good, and they were. And I thought I picked rather well. I'm not sure I remember what the drink was. It looks like some kind of banana juice or something. And I also visited a park in the city. The city is San Salvador. All of these photos are from the city of San Salvador. I'm not sure what this is. This is like some kind of cover, I guess, shelter from the rain. I don't know. And I wanted to take a picture of this cool looking building. They have some nice office buildings there in the city, also McDonald's and stuff. And finally, I got back on a bus and was crossing into Honduras. I think this is at a border crossing. And this was in a hostel I was sleeping at. I wanted to show off that it's kind of like a barracks, a lot of bunk beds. You gotta share a space with a lot of other people. I wanted to take a picture of this cool tree that I saw in the city. This is Tegucigalpa, and another cool tree and some streams. And this is the hotel I was staying at. I came to understand there was a lot of Asian influence, a lot of Asian cultural mixing. A lot of the ethnicity is kind of blended with a lot of Asian and a lot of the people who live around Central America. But this is, yeah, a very sort of Chinese themed restaurant. Not restaurant, hotel. That's where I was sleeping the next night after the hostel. And here we can see a little stream in the city. I'm always wanting to take pictures of the streams and rivers. I just think they look nice. More streams. In the hotel room, I wanted to show that I couldn't quite close the blinds. I was exposed to the open air because the blinds would not close all the way. This is kind of typical of a lot of buildings in the area. You can never quite get them airtight or watertight or whatever. Um, here's here's a nice little stream. I think at this point I had headed into the mountains near uh, near Tegucigalpa because I was headed into a cloud forest. I was trying to go for a nice long hike. I should have, planned this better and gone with a proper tour because it was difficult to even find a trail to enter the cloud forest. I had no idea where I was going. I found a little trail, probably the wrong one, because it was quite rough traversing this terrain. But there are lots of nice little waterfalls. Here's a nice overhanging rock I wanted to get a picture of. And more waterfalls in the streams, more waterfalls, and more waterfalls. This one's a bit taller. Um, I remember going through an ordeal, um, thinking, oh, this is the path I need to take. So I'm climbing up this muddy slope. I ended up like almost hurting myself a little bit. Um, like on the way down, I think I was maybe falling a bit harder than I should have been. But yeah, I had to give up because I was like, this is just impassable trying to get up here. But yeah, at this point, I completely lost the trail. I had no idea where I was going, so I kind of just followed the river. I guess I hadn't completely lost the trail because I remember following something that looked like a trail and it led me to this pipe. And I'm like, well, I guess I better walk across the pipe because I'm a freaking idiot. Um, no, I did not fall, but it was just so dangerous doing this. I made sure I was very careful, just crawling very slowly. I was not walking. I was crawling. I was inching my way across this. That's something I've always wanted to do as a kid, by the way. Whenever I'd see dangerous things to climb across, I'd be like, no, no, can't do that. You know, my parents or whatever would not let me. But here, I'm off by myself as an adult, and I could do dangerous things. And there were more of these, by the way. Higher, more dangerous, just super scary pipes to climb across. I didn't take a picture of everything because I was conserving my phone battery. Because I needed to be able to get back into the city, which means I needed to call a lift or something. I think this photo might have been taken from on top of the pipe. Yeah, I was turning my phone off and turning it back on when I like see something I wanted to take a picture of, but here's like a nice cool mushroom I found growing off of something. Here's some more mushrooms, growing off of branches and whatnot. Um, and here's some rubber tubing. So there are definitely plenty of signs of civilization out here in the cloud forest. I don't know what, I guess this was transporting water or something to some sprinklers. I saw some sprinklers out there. They're watering something. I don't know, taking care of the environment somehow. And oh, I definitely wanted to take a photo of this rock formation. It looks so cool. Sort of crystalline structures. It's like these rocks, whatever the rocks are made of is like forming these crystals. And here's another photo showing that this formation like went all the way up this big slope. And here is a nice big waterfall. Oh wow, this was a very nice find. I actually did take a shower in this because I was feeling very in touch with nature being so far out there. Even though it wasn't really that far out there, it just felt like it because I was trudging along um, through through this thick forest with a lot of difficulty. Obviously, couldn't climb up there. Had to find a way around this cliff. And here, I want to take a picture of the sun hitting the mountainside. It's getting late. Got to find a way back somehow. Lyft and Uber and everything would not be able to get me out there. I totally screwed up. So I called a friend who was able to put me in touch with like a guy he was able to take their taxi van out there to pick me up. You know, if I waited an hour or whatever, it would take 10 hours to walk back, basically. So I got rescued, and this is a nice fountain in town where I was waiting to be picked up. And I guess I'm back on the bus here, taking a photo of some of the wind generators and stuff. And crossing a border, I wanted to make sure I got a photo of a guy holding this huge rifle. There was just a lot of this in a lot of countries. El Salvador, you know, Guatemala, Honduras, always heavily armed military police. It's sort of Latin fascism, and the the buses were very comfortable. I wanted to take a picture of how you could fold down this cushion from the seat in front of you so you could lie down, make a sort of bed, and taking a picture of this nice landscape at sunset. And when I got back to Guatemala City, I'm walking by, saw this big old square hole with this big, like, round barrel thing in it. And for some reason, I was just like, oh, I want to take a picture of that. This big old hole with a big thing in it. And this, I believe, is the U.S. Embassy in Guatemala City. You can see the American flag there. And a vending machine, written in English, vending machines, papel higiénico. It's a toilet paper vending machine in a bathroom. Wanted to show you. I thought this was a really cool hillside where they're growing their crops. I don't know what they're growing exactly. Um, but yeah, it's a nice little hillside farm. I actually thought it was so cool. I wanted to stop and get a photo of it rather than, because I don't want to take pictures while I'm driving. And in Guatemala, there was another tourist attraction I wanted to visit called Semuc Champey. And I believe it was raining at the time, so this is a photo of some some mud, muddy streams going down the hill. Take this photo to show that I was unable to drive to Semuc Champey. Once I got close, there were a lot of these muddy hills that were impossible for me to drive on. The truck just stalled trying to get up the muddy slope because I do not have four-wheel drive. So I had to park. Um, Here's closer up. I don't know if you can really see the motion of what's going on in a still photo, but yeah, this water, this mud is just flowing down the hill. Yeah, I parked my truck at a little business kind of convenience store food stand and gave them some money for the privilege of parking here while I trudged ahead. Got a little taxi trike. I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but there are taxi trikes that transport people around in much of Latin America. Um, these little vehicles that are much better suited for the narrow roads. And I piled into it. Here's a little. I want to take a picture of a bird as I was approaching. Um, as I was approaching the final destination. But yeah, I piled into that taxi trike with like 7 people. It was way overcrowded. People were hanging on to the sides as I drove all the way there. And the final slope was actually too steep even for the taxi trike, so I had to walk, the final 100 meters or so. And more of the birds just hanging around. I actually got there too late. It's like they closed at 4 o'clock or something. So yeah, I was not able to do the hike up to the main attraction, the jungle hike where you see the springs and stuff on Semuc Champey. And I didn't want to get a hotel room here. There were a lot of touristy inns where you could stay here at this big attraction, but I didn't want to have to pay for that, and I didn't want to stay so long. I wanted to get back on my way. But I got to see the nice floaty river, you know. And here's a tree, and you can see the river behind it where people floated down in inner tubes and stuff. Um, Here's some nice rock formations as I'm crossing over the bridge, and you can see the other side of the bridge, you know, the nice little river here. And I'm sure this is a hotel, you know, where people stay. Um, you know, I definitely saw plenty of tourists hanging around and more cool rocks. Um, yeah, this is, you know, the what I got to see of Samuk Champe, the nice, cool river that people like to go swimming in and float down. And here it is from above as I was, you know, walking my way back. Um, I did not have enough money. I had used up all my cash on the taxi to get there, and I didn't realize it would cost so much until I was already, you know, there. You know, he told me how much I owed him at the end of the ride, and I was like, well, I won't have enough money for the way back. But oh yeah, this looks really nice. Looking down there at Simuk Champe, but luckily some tourists gave me a ride. They didn't have any room inside, but they let me uh, hang on to the outside of their van as we went back down the road. Here, I guess I'm taking a photo of some of the low-hanging clouds and fog and stuff, and a nice little duck. As I was walking by, you can see that there's this nice little muddy pond here with lots of plants growing out of it. This cool duck wants to go swimming. I'm not sure what this was. I could probably tell at the time. Some kind of fruit growing on this palm tree. I might have been able to tell what it was. Maybe papaya or something. But yeah, I can't tell from the photo. And so yeah, the light hitting the mountains again. Um, I'm not sure what was interesting about this photo, but yeah, just taking photos of the landscape. And here's the road with the sort of mud going down alongside, and you can see some of the litter. Yeah, I'm not sure what the point was here. And when I finally did get to my hotel destination, it was really nice, and they had a restaurant there, and oof, there are so many good things on this menu that I ordered two sweet drinks. This was like a malteada or a licuado or something. Um, Iced horchata, something really tasty and creamy. And also I got a hot chocolate because Mexico, I guess this wasn't Mexico, this was Guatemala. But yeah, they got the best hot chocolate. I guess they have the best hot chocolate in Mexico, but I wanted to try some Guatemalan hot chocolate for whatever reason. It sounded really good on the menu. They were really selling this stuff, like all the fancy ingredients and whatnot. And here's a nice photo of the restaurant because you have to ascend this set of steps. You can't really see them, it's dark, but the restaurant's nice and lit up. Um, yeah, yeah, nice little building at the top of this set of steps. It looked quite aesthetic if in the light, if you can see it. And in the morning, I went back to the restaurant because they had so much good stuff on the menu, and I got a root beer float this time, I guess, something like that. And driving along, this definitely looks like the kind of thing you would see in the US, but yeah, it's just all these road signs um, that lead to all these fantasy places, La Casa de Mickey Mouse and everything else. Got a few Disney stuff, got a few non-Disney stuff, but yeah. And ooh, I definitely wanted to take a photo of this cool cloud. Here's a better view of it. You can see this nice little big pink cloud, a little tail, you know, sort of like it's connected to the earth. And I guess I thought it was funny to see this sort of Star of David gas station. It's like Israeli gas or something. Oh, and I made it back to Mexico here, and this is a much nicer part of Chiapas, much easier to get through. Um, I don't know if it's necessarily touristy. I guess it's little touristy, but you don't see any tourists on this beach. You can see this really great sandy beach stretching out there with just nobody on it. Um, this place where I stayed was called Mission Surf, and I guess it was a mission where some foreigners came to run their little place, and I guess you can surf there. They offered some kind of surfing school, which I guess was seasonal or whatever. But yeah, there was just nobody on this beach out there, and they had some sheep or whatever. But I guess I was taking this picture to show how like huge the sheep's balls are, and I wanted to show a typical toilet in the region. There's no tank, there's no toilet seat, but fortunately there is toilet paper, so that's nice. And after I went to the money changer to um, get rid of my quetzales and get some pesos, I wanted to show off that this one coin was thicker than the others, and I could not figure out why. I checked the years on them; they were all the same year, so I don't know why this coin was like thicker than the others. And I guess there were some Valentine's decorations up in this is the city of Tapachula. It's a bit of a drive from the beach where I was staying, maybe about half an hour, but I wanted to go into the city and see stuff. I thought this trash can was cool for some reason, here in the middle of this walkway. They're encouraging people to throw stuff away. I guess a lot of Mexico does have a litter problem. And here's just a nice little structure, nice little covering in a city park that I wanted to show off. And this is what a wound I was taking care of in my trailer. While I was walking on the beach, I cut my toe on like a nail that's sticking up. So there were more dilapidated buildings, ruined structures like houses that were just getting washed away into the ocean. So there were like concrete bricks under the sand, and some of them had like nails and staples and stuff sticking up, like really sharp that you could not see because they were just under the sand. So you got to make sure you avoid structures like that because they might have stuff nearby that can cut you. Here's a photo of the beach. Um, Nobody on it, just great sandy beach, had all to myself, just perfect. And I don't know what these are. They're like tomatoes or something. Some kind of fruit growing around. No, this couldn't have been tomatoes. It was like on a big tree. I don't even remember. I don't know if I can. Yeah, maybe somebody can figure it out by looking at this. But um, here, just quite a lot of wind power. Like you can see all of these generators, stretching into the distance. And this is Piña Relleno. It's a stuffed pineapple dish, and they were stuffing it with like a whole bunch of different kinds of seafood, and it ended up being quite a lot. I don't remember if I was able to finish it or not. And I made it to Oaxaca. Here's a beach on Oaxaca. I made sure not to get any of the beachgoers, but I wanted to take a picture because there's actually a nice arch behind. So these rocky structures. The one in the back is a sort of arch that I wanted to swim over to, and it was very dangerous because the water like going through there like was really rushing in, rushing out. It was very strong currents. I got about as close. I did not swim through the arch. I got about as close as I thought was safe, so I could like see the water coming in and out, and then I swam back. And they had a nice little trailer park here, which is like Rancho de los Mangos. And there were like tons of these mango trees here, and I wanted to take a picture to show you these unripe mangoes growing on these trees. And I guess this is a dog. I don't know why I took this picture. But here I definitely know why I want to take this picture to show just how many like how big of a litter problem there was. You know, normally I don't want to take pictures of trash. I want to take pictures of the pretty things. So you don't normally get a good impression of how much litter I was seeing on the way. But here, you know, I wanted to get at least one picture to show, you know, that they're just desecrating the beautiful landscape, just throwing all their trash onto this hillside, you know, just using whatever as a dumpster. And it's just too bad. This is like a big old basin of water with a little bucket that you can dunk into it to get some water. And this is how, you know, you wash your hands after using the bathroom. Just don't have running water, so you just gotta use this water that they've stored for you. And some turkeys. As I was walking around this area waiting for my vehicle to be, I think I was getting a car wash since it was very difficult to find car washes that were big enough for my trailer and my truck to get into. You know, there were a lot of just narrow kind of structures that people expect you to drive into, and a lot of like overhangs, like low ceilings, height clearances. So yeah, very difficult to find a proper, like, nice big open area to get a car wash. And I found one here that was sort of on this mountainside, and I'm walking around and I see these turkeys. And this was such a weird looking guy. Like, look, all these like bulges, these blue bulges on his head, just so alien. Got this fleshy thing dangling down. It's sort of Lovecraftian. It's just like you expect them to have this like sharp, hard beak, but he's got this like sort of flesh thing hanging down. Here you can see him shaking it around and making his gobble gobble noise. Oh man, so weird looking. Ah, here's a little dog getting some shade. And here's a little dog inside a bathroom spying on somebody in the stall. Yeah, very nice dogs all around. Here's a nice jello dish, which was jello in jello. So you got the red jello that's sort of been solidified into the outer green jello. And I know you guys don't want to see this, but I guess I had a stomach virus or something. I tried some Mexican sushi. I mean, it's not Mexican, it's just normal sushi, the same as you get anywhere. But my stomach was, you know, having such a hard time that I lost all of it into this sink, and it's kind of really tough to wash down because it was so thick. And this is a women's march. I'm back in Teotihuacan, and here is a women's march in Mexico. You don't see a lot of progressives um, and progressive politics going on, but this was like close to Mexico City, so you see a bit more of that. And I thought that was cool, you know, having a women's march. And I did notice passerby, and actually, even the lady who was running the trailer park was kind of mocking them. You know, everybody was just like, "Oh, look at these weirdos." That's too bad. I wanted to take a picture of the Kentucky Fried Chicken, uh, sort of built into this building here in Teotihuacan. Not your usual look for a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know why I took this picture of traffic. I guess I just wanted to show off how much traffic there was. Oh, and I made it. I made it back to Lake Chapala, and I wanted to take a picture of the lake because it's kind of. I was driving by the lake a lot, but I didn't want to take a picture while I was driving. I just thought it was such a nice lake. This picture doesn't do it justice, but I just wanted one picture. This was at like Roca Azul or something, one of the trailer parks in the area that I wanted to try. There were quite a lot of RVs here. It was quite crowded, but they did have space. And I was looking around. I guess there was like some construction or change of management or whatever, but I could not find anybody to give my money to. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to spend the night for free then. Because yeah, I just drove there, super bumpy road, had to go very slow, and I didn't want not want to turn back and have to drive all the way past that bumpy road. It was difficult to get into this, so I guess if you're coming here, you're gonna want to stay long term. And I think a lot of people were staying here long term, just living in Mexico. you know, foreigners. And they had a nice little playground here. I wanted to take a picture of all the cool structures they had, some of which were kind of unfamiliar, like not what you would see at a normal US playground. And that's it. That's the end of the album.